So today we're going to look at Young Place Changers Toolkit, and we're going to kind of dive into kind of the practicalities of how do you do that. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to hand over to, who can give the background on how we came up with it.
So the toolkit combines the placemaking approach that Green Space Scotland has been using for over 10 years with communities, and Youth Scotland's youth work approach. And the reason we've created the toolkit and the reason that we're doing the Young Place Changers programme is that because young people are largely invisible in the public realm and are not really, often not part of the discussions and decisions about place, this is a way to engage them meaningfully in that process. So the toolkit has practical exercises, but it also has a little bit of the background to have these discussions about place with young people. So we're going to do one of those exercises now. So what makes a space a place? And when discussing this with young people, we often ask them what their favourite place is to start the discussion. So you can have a think just now. You don't need to share it, but just think, well, what's your favourite place? And then what we would do often as an icebreaker again, we would do a sort of speed dating exercise where you would be sharing 3 things with somebody for a minute. So it would be maybe your favourite food, your favourite music or band, and then your favourite place. So you would start having that chat with others in the group. And it's not usually something you would have talked with your friend about in the youth club or group. So just bringing that idea of a favourite place into discussion. A lot of young people would maybe say to us, well, my favourite place is my room. Instead of just sort of dismissing that and saying, oh no, it has to be outdoors or it has to be a green space, we can use that to explore what that is that makes it your favourite place. And you know, my favourite place is my room because it's warm, it's cosy, it's inviting, it's maybe a bit messy, but it's my mess. I feel comfortable there. I have my family and people that I care for near me. I feel at home. All those sort of feelings we can start discussing. And then the question is often, but could you describe your local park that way? Your school or your work, could you describe it that way? Or if you can't, what's missing to make those places feel the same way to you? Here's just a picture of how a parking space has been very quickly, something has been done to it quickly and cheaply, and it's become a place for people. So it's just about what are the small changes that we could maybe make in the public places to make them feel places that we're comfortable and happy in. So that really public places and your local park becomes an extension of your home and a place that you're familiar with and you feel comfortable in. So what we then often do here, we have a sort of place assessment exercise that we do, where we have some pictures of some different spaces and places. And if we were in a room together, we would give everybody in the room a red card and a green card, and ask them to vote once we were looking at pictures. So we're not in a room together, but it is something that you can do online. So we can use the emojis in the reactions to show our reactions to the pictures as I go through them. I'm just going to show you a few just to give you a feel for the process. And to do this exercise with where you live, you could go out and take some pictures in your local neighbourhood of places that are, you know, different. Some are maybe green and lush, some are maybe more urban, some maybe need a bit of attention, some are seemingly perfect. The point is though that these places will mean different things to different people. So what one person thinks is a great place is maybe another person's nightmare. So that's the kind of discussion you would have as well when you go through the process. And the aim is just to dig a bit deeper into place and to hear from others what we like and dislike about a certain place, how they function, how we move about them, and how welcoming and safe they feel. So I don't even know actually. Yeah, so Emma and Julie, you can maybe have a look and see which pictures sort of create the biggest reaction when I show them, and then we can talk about it afterwards. So if you think the picture that I show you, you think that just, you only know what you see in the picture. If you think it looks great, if you could put your hand or clapping emoji or something up. And if you think it looks bad or needs improvement, then you could not react or put something negative up. So here's a place first. Yeah, and I'll just let you take in that place as we look at it.
It's not moved on, are you?
No, but that is a place itself.
Oh, sorry.
I'll take it in. That's fine. I was trying to put a number on it, but I couldn't. So now there, here's a place. So Laura's giving that a hands up. Yeah. So I can say that, so we've collected some places, some images of different places that people can go onto the website and download. If you don't want to go out and have a look for images yourself to do this exercise. And that's sometimes good as well, because it inspires the young people that you're working with to think of places that are not, in their local neighborhood. So here's another place. So you can decide whether it makes you feel red or green. You had your red or your green card. And this one, a different place with. Yes, we'll talk about it when we get there. Laura's giving it a smiley. Some of you might know where this is as well. It might have developed since it's taken as quite an old image by now. We've got one here. Again, it is a great place. Or is it a place that could be improved? Oh, we'll just go back one. So Emma, Julie, was there any of these places where everybody was delighted?
Generally, people were liking number 1 and number 2. Number 3, there was a little bit of a dissent there. I think Kat had the not sure about this, and I think we're universally we're not happy with number 4.
Yeah. So the idea of this is that to have the discussion and actually say, well, there is no right or wrong. Because, for example, in this first image here, you might think, oh, that looks really nice and bustling. I want to be in there. And isn't it great? There's no cars driving. We can all walk in the street. Whereas some young people just go, that's just far too busy for me. There's so many people. I don't want to be in that. And actually, this is obviously pre-COVID, because now there's some other considerations about spending a lot of time with lots of people in a market like this. So again, some people will think this is nice and something they want to be part of, and others would be like, oh no, thank you very much. I want to go somewhere much more serene and calm. And this also shows that the places can change, because usually this place is full of cars. So this is how it's been. I think it's a car-free day happening. It's a street in Glasgow. I can't remember where it is now, but so. Also, the images that we look at, just to remember that places can change and be different in different seasons, different times of day. They can change over years. Some people might have a memory of somewhere that was great, a great park, and then they go back and realize, oh, that was maybe 15 years ago, and now it's a bit run down. So the places change, and so does obviously the discussions and feelings about them. and we just all dislike or like places for different reasons, and it's just important to have that discussion with each other. And then the key thing as well is we don't know from looking at a photo whether a place is great or not. And that is the key thing about placemaking, is that it has to be done by people who live in a place or use it to have any real meaning. But it doesn't mean that we can't have the discussion about that and relate it to our own real places. And I must say, it's been, every time you do this exercise with a group, you get different new perspectives on things. You know, I was with a group because I think this place here looks lovely. But some young people are very concerned about the sort of open, dangerous water in this picture. And also some people just, I would never get my feet out in public. So it's just like you have all these different feelings about it. This play park is actually now condemned and away. But a lot of people, young people just think, oh, that's great, you can play there, and don't really look at that actually it's run down and very old equipment. So different ways of looking at it. Some people think this is a great park with lots of different functions. There's a skate park, there's play equipment for older and younger children. Some adults don't like it, have expressed, youth workers have said, how can you keep control of where everybody is? And because it's very open, there's no fences and there's no sort of division between different age groups. So then you can have a chat about that as well. And this one here, really, really sweetly, a lot of young people say, but there must be a reason for these signs. Maybe there's a reason we don't know. So they're actually giving it sort of the benefit of the doubt. But we do talk a lot about how it is sort of agreeing that two things that you could do there, walk your dog or play a ball, you're sort of telling you that you can't do. But is there a way to give that space a function that makes it a bit more useful for people? So that's an exercise in the toolkit.